So here we are at the start of the second turn in Successors. I think I checked all the victory points. I hope I did. I know I was intending to. I think red was at 10 and they dropped down to 9. Anyway, handed out, well, turn order phase. Black made its choice as the person with the least victory points here. They want yellow to go first. That way they get to go last. I think there's an advantage in that still. I think basically the choice is always, do you want to go first, do you want to go last? Although there might be conditions where you want to go before one player and after another, and if the seating order is correct, you could. I'm not sure. But in most games of this nature, you usually want one or the other, and in this case, I'm leaning towards last as being generally the more valuable. Reinforcements phase. We got our reinforcements, and those go, one went to, I forgot what I got. One went to the Macedonians, and they got a loyal Macedonian unit. And one went to the person with the most prestige, and he put it in this stack so that he's going to be able to have more force in pushing forward. He thinks that stack's going to do the majority of the work in moving forward. And then two mercenary units, which is worse than in a lot of ways than one Macedonian, went to the guy with the most victory points. He also wants to position himself in the line of attack. He doesn't think he's going to need as many troops over here trying to fill in the gaps. He thinks where there are other people with active forces is going to be more dangerous. He's in an interesting position here that I was considering. He's got 14 victory points. He needs to get to 23. With the play of a card, he could probably grab himself a largest fleet, bringing him up to 17. So basically his view is grab 6 more points worth of stuff. Now, these two are worth 5 in and of themselves. So he's not that far from where he thinks he could take the win all at once off one play. It's not that close. It might take him all of turn 2 to gather those 6 points total, but we'll see how people go. Unfortunately, he's also still the usurper, which kind of goes with that territory, right? All right, well, he's going to have to start things off, and we'll see what happens. So yellow opened things up, taking the territories they were in, playing Egyptian military colonists, giving them a couple more troops. Then they took a pass to build another one. Now this card came into their hand. It's sort of a bonus for them. What they're seeing is, oh, I can take Syria. One thing I also hadn't noticed was I hadn't given them, they didn't have Persis yet. They just took it this turn. So that's 2 more points. So that puts them to 16 right now. With Cyrene, that's 18. 3 more for the fleet puts them to 22. They actually only need 2 more. So Babylonia is not even a necessity, although that's what they're still aiming at. They feel pretty comfortable that they're going to be able to take what they need if nobody is paying much attention. We go to the red turn, and they didn't gain much, anything actually, but they played this mass migration of Illyrian tribes, which triggers off all the activated independent forces. And among other things, they moved the Cappadocians down. The Greeks moved over here into Armenia to threaten that more. And I could have moved these. They can go up to Epirus. And the Scythians have gone there. And we have the first battles of the game. The independents are attacking the players. Okay, so let's try to figure out what we have for battle ratings here. Well, let's do the one that I wasn't expecting first. Perdicaeus here. No, Leonidas. And I'm going to put the Olympias counter with him. No reason. That's elsewhere. So he has 4 strength points, minimum die rolls of 3, and no local forces, whereas the Greeks have 6 plus 2 local forces plus another local force for owning the actual territory. So they're at 9-4, right? Yeah, 9-4. Black's gonna say, "Oh, I don't want to lose anything. Do I have any cards that can help me here?" They have a fog card. That's not going to help here. So they could try to avoid the battle, and they'd like to do that. And we'll do that first. I'm not sure if they can avoid the battle, because we got these Illyrians down here too heading towards them. Maybe to that waypoint there. Okay, they were all high enough to avoid the battle. Higher than their value. So I'm going to look up to see if they actually can avoid this. I believe they can. And they may have to take some losses retreating into that area because they'd be overstacked. I'll be back in a moment. So that was a successful avoid. He doesn't have to worry about his stacking until the forage phase. He'll get a chance to move out of there by then. We got the other battle, which is against Antipater. And he has 2, 4, 5 strength points. He's facing 5 plus 1 because they hold the space but not the whole area. So he's facing 6. It's not as big a disadvantage. Let's look at what blue has in his hand. Whether he has any... Ooh. If you've just captured a major city or won a land battle, all enemy and control markers that are currently isolated. Okay, that doesn't sound too exciting. Ha! I've forgotten about isolation. Damn. This is gone. This is gone. Wow. Well, that's kind of cool. I think everything else is kind of connected. But those guys were cut off and no longer exist. That gives expansion opportunities that should have been there earlier, but I didn't see. What about this? I'm not sure. I think he can trace through the neutral area. I don't remember. I'll look that up afterwards. Okay, so we're going to fight this battle because we have, whoa, let's make you really dizzy. We have a 3 minimum roll and they only have a 1. So we think we've got the advantage and can get some additional prestige off of fighting if we defeat them. So we do, alright, I'll roll for the attackers first. They have a strength of 6. And they get a big roll, an 11. That's going to be a 6 combat factor. Whereas the defender probably isn't going to get that high. He doesn't get bonus. He rolls a 9. That's a natural roll. It could lose a leader. And he only does 4. What happens? Well, of course, having paid attention to everything else, I've forgotten about this. So, the attacker would normally take 1 loss. They're an independent force, so they don't actually take casualties like that. The defender, however, has been defeated. His mercenary and elephants are destroyed. That's these. And now his Macedonians have to take attrition losses. And they're looking, they're looking at the 2 table. They only have 2 CU. They don't lose anything, but they're dispersed. And we'll put the leader on top of them if he survives, but there's a chance that the leader was lost. Roll a die if you won the battle. 5 or a 6, he dies. He does not die, so he is also dispersed back to here. The siege marker is removed. And that's over. Now I had a couple of rules I wanted to look up having to do with isolation, to see if these red units here got isolated as well. That could cause them some mild problems. And there's something else I wanted to look up because I saw this little on the attrition table, 9.12 tribes. So I'll look those two up because I don't really know what either one of them means. So I completed Red's turn and they picked up just an extra mercenary. They were thinking about trying to do movement, maybe converting some of these Hellespont spaces, but the one has military units, so that would require an attack. They don't want to do that yet. The other side, well, there really wasn't much else that they wanted to do over in here, although they could start seizing Mesopotamia now that it's actually more empty than they thought it was. My error with the isolation thing, should have caught that earlier. That only happens at the end of a complete turn, and I just didn't really pay attention. So these guys are safe from isolation as long as this is neutral. If that becomes controlled by someone, they could lose it. And I think it was that way at one point. And actually, it's not safe because there were troops here at the beginning of the turn. So they do lose these. They may lose some victory points for that. I don't know what Thrace is for. They're still okay there. Okay. Just trying to think things through here. The other thing, the attrition losses, is if you walk through a green space. Now, I've done that a couple of places, I think. Not many. And if you do that, you take losses on the 2 table, which isn't a big deal, really. So we can assume that I didn't screw anything too badly there. All right, on to Blue's turn. So on Blue's turn, he played that leader he has, Jimenez, who he had show up here in Phrygia. Got a good roll for movement. Is, oops, 1, 2, he has a chance to siege that actually. 5, he takes it. Capturing areas in Cappadocia, which may be kind of iffy because there is a neutral army in Cappadocia. He tried to move this leader over, but got intercepted by Black. Now Black's doing that with the hope of getting the Greek mercenary, or the Greek colonists up to destroy that army, or whatever. It may be a little weird because Black really wants to be more down here with this force, but with his high legitimacy, he can afford to scare people off there, I guess. Blue also laid siege to Rhodes and got a point on them. He'd be at a penalty against them if it weren't for the fact that he has a navy. And it's a navy that he's going for here. He wants Rhodes, not just for the 2 victory points, or 3 victory points, wow, but more for the extra navy. He's looking at that side of things as being more potent, which is kind of scary to Yellow because Yellow is counting on being able to jump up the largest navy. Alright, and now the last player of this round is Black. So Black was left with a difficult decision. Straight ahead, they'll lose their champion position. Okay. Started thinking and saying, I can live with that, fine. I'll fight my way through. Okay. But that drops their legitimacy down to 9. That's within 2 of Red's legitimacy, which means if Craterus intercepts here, well, Craterus has a +2 prestige. No, that doesn't help. So yeah, they'd be even then. But that means that Craterus gets these Macedonian good forces. I've got a thing that makes that work for me, though. I can condemn Craterus as my event. And that'll mean that he's weaker. He's still got quite a force there that I gotta fight. If he successfully intercepts into here. But the other option is really ugly. The other option involves trying to work my way around through Medea and upward. What's the problem with all this, though? Well, if I'm down to 9 legitimacy, I have to bury Alexander in Pellis for this to work. I don't know what my chances of that are. I've got almost nothing between me and there. Over here I've got somebody near Pellis that could be helpful, but he's kind of sealed up. I'm going to take my chances with it because I don't think that I can get the body home quickly enough taking this roundabout route. I don't know. Let me think again. Let me look at the numbers, because if I've got some good numbered cards, I can march quite far. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gets me to there. Yeah, you know, I don't want to lose my successor, my champion status yet. I want to get a lot closer. So I am going to move. I'm going to use my big action to start my movement. Do I want this one? 1, 2, 3. I'm going to play an unrest card here. Maybe that'll help break things up a little bit. And let's see where that ends up. Egypt or Cyrene, my call. Egypt, that would be cool. What about Cyrene? I don't know where that is. Well, I have no idea where. Oh, over here. Well, that's not very helpful. So I'm going to drop the unrest in Egypt. And it can be in any space. Wow. There goes Memphis, man. It's an annoyance for the yellow player. It may get worse. But the point, actually, I should have done this first. I got to move my army. I got to pick this up. There. And now I get to take a movement action. Where I roll a die. And I'm going to get 3 more moves with him. And all my other forces get to move too. I'll take care of that right now. Well, some of my calculations were wrong there. As I saw after the battle. I forgot about Olympias, who was another... Oh, no. 7, 8, 9, 10... God, I can't tell. 11, 12. Yeah, no, I was right. So now I'm at 5, 6, 7. So many numbers to count in so many places. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm down to 10 legitimacy because Olympias was lost trying to break out of the Illyrian Greek trap that was set for her. I could have just stayed there and suffered some forage losses, but then I'd get wiped out eventually by those forces anyway. So I had to try to fight my way out. Leader's here, his troops are gone, his European contingent's gone. Trying to break out as far as I can. I've got siege that I've started here, sorta, kinda. I don't really mean it because I'm going to be leaving. But the situation is not much better. I'm still blocked here. I've got to go way up through here to where I've got a couple units up here. And that's probably the best that I can do. And it looks to me like the Greek colonists are going to be trying to stop me. On the other hand, Red's in the interesting position. Well, no. See, they can't lose their champion status and attack him, because then their army will like defect to the other side. So they can't really do much more than just be a hindrance. Okay. Well, that's the first round of card play, and I'll send this up because it's taking a long time.